Okay, today is another Throwback palette series video. How exciting. This is number 3 that we have done so far, and today we are using the ABH Modern Renaissance palette because honestly, what says throwback and also cult classic more than Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance? Every person and their dog wanted this palette at one point or another when this palette came out, and honestly still to this day it's still such a really good palette. And fun fact, this was actually my first ever high-end palette that I purchased. So there you go. So today we're going to create a fall inspired makeup look. I am not in fall, I am living in Australia and it's actually going into summer over here, but I feel like fall for me is just magical, and if I was a season it would definitely be fall. So I'm going to live vicariously through my makeup basically and create a fall inspired makeup look today. I've even turned the air conditioning on in my room so that it's nice and cold and I can pretend like it is fall. So there you go. Now if that sounds interesting, make sure you keep on watching. You could also subscribe and hit that notification bell if you would like to. It really helps my channel out. I truly appreciate it. If not, all good. Let's just get started. Okay, I've got you up close and personal so that you can see exactly what the makeup looks like on my skin. And I'm actually going to keep my lighting a little bit lower today so that you guys can hopefully see, I guess, the true representation of the colors and everything. So let me know if you prefer that. And one more disclaimer, I have not fixed my squeaky chair. I don't even know if I can fix it, but it's definitely not fixed. So if you're hearing the squeaks and like little noises that just happened then, that's why. And I could change my chair, but you know, this is ergonomic and I have a sore back. So we're just gonna pretend like we can't hear the noises from the chair, okay? Okay. Also, these videos are kind of long because I do a full face of makeup and I get pretty chatty. Most of my videos are pretty long. I've just come to the conclusion that that's just who I am, and you're probably gonna have to enjoy a little bit longer videos if you would like to subscribe to my channel. You know, please subscribe. I mean, we'd love to have you here. It's a great place to be. I recommend grabbing a coffee. I have mine, and also look how cute my cup is. It says bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. How cute is that? Is that not like one of the cutest cups you've ever seen? I personally think it is. Naturally, I have no idea what look I'm actually creating. Now, I wish you guys were here because I want you to tell me if I should use this, or this, but okay, so I think I know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to use a mixture of this dark brown color here, which is Cypress Umber, and also this antique, what's it called? Antique bronze color right here, which I've actually never used this color ever. Out of all of the palette, this is the one color I've never used. So we should definitely use that today. And as you can see, I've definitely loved my palette. This is the only eyeshadow palette pretty much I have in my collection that I have hit pan. Actually, this is definitely the only eyeshadow palette in my collection where I have hit pan on multiple colors, because I've hit pan on tempera here, on burnt orange, on, nope, not on that one, and on this dark brown one right here. And I'm pretty close to hitting pan on this gold one right here too. So I'm pretty proud of the fact that I've actually really used this palette. I have had this palette for 3 years, so it's probably expired. Actually, what is the expiry date? 6 months? Shut the F up. The expiry of this palette is 6 months. Who would honestly use an eyeshadow palette in 6 months? That's ridiculous. Eyeshadow palette expiries definitely need to be a minimum of 12 to 18 months, if not 2 years, because who's using an eyeshadow palette? Anyway, I've had this 3 years and I'm still using it, and I haven't had any infections or anything, so we're just gonna keep using it. Okay, so for my eye primer today, I'm gonna use the ColourPop Cream Shadow in the color Camouflage because it is a little bit of like a tanny, deeper color, so it will be a nice kind of darker base already. It's not super dark, but it'll be just a little bit darker than my NARS one to kind of start this deeper eye look, because we are going so vampy today. Okay, so to start with, I'm just going to take this color right here, which is Warm Taupe, and I'm going to take it on my favorite blending brush, which is the Delium Tool 785. And then, like normal, I'm just going to start concentrating this on the outer corner, buffing it in and kind of trying to diffuse it. This is not going to be like a revolutionary eye look, you guys. It's going to be quite simple. It's just probably going to be like a deeper brown kind of smoky eye. But not all looks have to be, you know, fancy, crazy eye looks. Some of them can just be nice and simple, quick eyeshadow looks and ready to go. Okay, so both of my eyes are blended out with that Warm Taupe color. And now I'm just gonna pick up Cypress Umber, which is this dark brown color on the end here. And I'm just picking this up on a flat shader brush. This is a Dior one, which, fun fact, I have had since I was 16 years old. I got this Dior brush set when I was 16 years old. My mum got it for me, and the lady at the store, I remember she said, like, if you treat this brush set well, you'll have it for the rest of your life. And honestly, I'm 30 now and I still have it, and I don't have any shedding. The brush quality on all of the brushes that I have is still amazing. So I can vouch for the fact that the Dior brushes are very, very good quality. So I'm just picking up that Cypress Umber color on this shader brush, and I'm just going to pat this all over the lid. Nice and simple. This palette, I would recommend doing your eyes first before your face makeup, unless you're going to go for like a light look, just because ABH is like notorious for fallout, and because this is such a dark look, I kind of just want to like, yeah, I don't want to screw my base up at all by getting dark flecks all over my foundation and stuff. So yeah. Then I'm picking up my Delium Tool 785 blending brush again, and I'm not putting any extra color on it, and I'm holding it very close to the end here, and I'm just going to buff out that Cypress Umber shade just into the crease, just so that it diffuses into that warm taupe color and doesn't look like super harsh. Like, you can see the harsh lines here, so I'm just going to blend it out. Also, I would suggest looking at your eye shape, and depending on what your eye shape is like depending on how you would kind of do this outer portion of your eye here. So for example, because my eyes are hooded and downturned, I like to kind of almost create, not a wing, but see how it's like slanted upwards like this, like that kind of a shape, like a wing kind of shape. I like to create that because it creates kind of like that lifted almond like illusion look. But for example, if you don't have hooded eyes or you don't have downturned eyes, you might actually just like to kind of round this off a little bit, because maybe that flatters your eye shape a little bit more. So just have a look at your eye shape and see kind of what you think might suit your face shape better. But I like to kind of always create that almond elongated look, just because my eyes are quite downturned. Okay, so both of my eyes have been blended out with that Cypress Umber shade, and I've just like blended out the edges again with that Delium Tools brush. And now what I'm going to do is I'm taking that Dior flat shader brush again, and I've just wiped the color off, and I'm just picking up the color Antique Bronze right here. I'm just going to pat that onto the lid, but I'm going to, just because it's a little bit lighter, concentrate that more so in this little bit here, not the whole lid, so just like the center of the lid, just so that it creates a little bit of dimension and a little bit of lightness in that center. Okay, so that is literally it for the eyes. We are done. You can see, well, it's actually, I'm lying, we've still got our lower lash line to go, but we'll do that later when our face makeup is done. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the rest of the face. Now for primer, today I'm going to use the Becca First Light Priming Filter again, because I'm so close to finishing this. For like a smaller bottle, how many mils do you get in this? 15 mils. This has honestly lasted me nearly all year. I got it at Christmas time last year, and I use it like so many times, like because I want to use it up, but it's still going. I'm just taking it on my Fenty Beauty foundation brush as well, just because I've been finding that I have like skin that gets really easily red, and if I put my primer on with my hands, my skin gets bright red, but if I put it on with a brush, it doesn't do that. So I've started doing that. For foundation, I'm going to use one that I'm not super in love with, but I want to use it because I don't really want it to go to waste in my collection, and it's not like super bad, it's just not super amazing. It is the NYX Born to Glow foundation. This is in the color Nude, if you're wondering. And I'm just going to take it on my Real Techniques foundation brush, and I'm going to pop it all over my face. And I wouldn't say this is like a super full coverage foundation either. It's definitely more of a medium coverage kind of foundation. So foundation is on, and I built it up to just have a little bit more coverage. It's not full coverage still, it's probably like a medium to almost full, and you can see now it is quite glowy and dewy. So if you don't like that, this is not the foundation for you. I don't normally love it, but with powder it actually ends up looking quite nice. Still not my fave, but it's quite nice. Now for concealer today, I'm actually going to use the CoverGirl True Blend concealers, because these are amazing. Now I use two shades because they kind of don't have my perfect shade, at least not that I've found anyway. Okay, so serious question. Have you guys watched Emily in Paris yet? And do you like it if you have? And if you haven't, do you just not care? I'm going to presume you don't, or you haven't heard about it. I've heard a lot of people say it's like a Sex and the City dupe. It's not a Sex and the City dupe. I can kind of get the vibes, but it's really not. It's just kind of like a cute little, wow. this is taking me a really long time to figure this out. Like, we're really putting some thought in this. It's probably more like, I guess, a less of a version of Sex and the City, if that kind of makes sense. Like, it's not as like in your face as Sex and the City, and she also doesn't, it's not based around like 4 women like Sex and the City is. It's based around just like Emily. Well, the first season is anyway. I'm just gonna take my sponge and just start blending this concealer out before it dries too much. But I binge watched it the other week. I think it was like not last week, the week before, and I binge watched all 10 episodes in one day, in one sitting, because I fell in love with it. I think I just loved seeing Paris in the TV show more than anything, because I love Paris so much and I miss traveling. But it's pretty good. I really like it. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite show of all time, but I think if you like that kind of a style of show, it's really, really good and worth watching. But I think, I don't know, and I don't want to give any spoilers just in case you haven't seen it, and I don't want to ruin it for you. But for those of you that have seen it, the last episode, I just feel really bad for Cami. And also, I don't know if they think that we're gonna be on Emily's side with this one or what. Are you on Emily's side with this one? Do you think it doesn't matter? That's all I'm gonna kind of say about it. But yeah, I didn't like the last episode as much. I mean, I liked the episode, I just didn't like, you know, what happened as much. But I love it. I can't wait till a new season comes out. I'm devastated because it's probably not going to come out until like 2022, if they even do another one now, because of Corona and how the cases are going. So I'm a little bit sad about that. For cream contour, we're going to use the Mecca Max Off Duty Contour Stick, and this is just in the shade Medium. It's just basically like their blush formula is what I'm trying to say, and I quite like it. It's pretty nice. I think it breaks me out though, so this will be the test today. So going back to Emily in Paris, I definitely recommend it. I definitely think it's worth the watch. I'm disappointed because I hate that Netflix keeps bringing out, and I don't know if it's actually Netflix that, you know, created this, it's probably not, but they keep bringing out these awesome shows that are like only 10 episodes long. I get absolutely addicted to them, and then they, like, the next season is like a year or more away, and I'm just devastated. So not loving that because they haven't, yeah, I don't know when Emily in Paris is actually going to get to resume filming with Corona the way that it is. So let's hope that Corona can end sometime soon. Also, Sex Education, if you haven't watched that, that is hilarious. I really, really like that show. I mean, it's probably not so much hilarious as it is like relevant, quite relevant. And I've watched, like, I binge watched season 1 and 2, and then I don't know when they're gonna get to film season 3 because of Rona. So they left it on a cliffhanger. So what I'm gonna need these shows to start doing is stop ending on cliffhangers, wrap it up, just in case something like this happens again and you can't film for over a year. And I don't have to be left hanging on this stupid cliffhanger. That's all I'm saying. So for powder, we're gonna take the usual combo, Fenty Beauty lavender powder underneath my eyes and my Maybelline Fit Me powder over the rest of my face. I'm just taking my Linda Holberg puff and pressing the lavender powder underneath my eyes, like I normally do. Now, another question about TV shows. Here we go. I don't know why this is today's topic, but this is today's topic. How do you feel about cliffhangers? Do you like cliffhangers? Do you enjoy it when a show ends on a cliffhanger, like in the series? Or do you prefer for things to be nice and wrapped up? Because I personally hate cliffhangers. I am not someone that is very patient. I really need to know like what's happening. I just really need, like, I'm one of those people that, like, if it's the ending of the movie is bad or it doesn't wrap itself up very well, I cannot watch it. I cannot watch it because I need to know at the end of the movie that everyone got a happy ending pretty much, or the bad guys got caught and everyone else got a happy ending, and that, like, I just need to know like a little bit of what happened. Like, don't just leave me hanging. So I really hate cliffhangers because I really like to know what's happened, okay? And I just can't leave on a cliffhanger and wait, you know, a year or whatever until this new season to find out, because it just stays with me. I just keep thinking about it. I mean, eventually, obviously, I forget about it and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what happened. But it takes me a really long time. So I don't like cliffhangers at all. So let me know if you guys feel the same way. Do you like cliffhangers? Do you think they add to the experience? Or are you like me, where you absolutely hate cliffhangers? Now also for bronzer, I'm going to take the Smashbox Ablaze palette, which I don't actually think they sell this anymore, and I don't know why, 'cause it's really pretty. And I never heard anyone talk about this, but it's a really nice palette. But I'm going to take these two here. So basically going back to my cliffhanger conversation, I just can't do it. I can't do them, and I cannot watch movies with sad endings or bad endings because I don't want to watch something that makes me unhappy. I just want to like watch a movie that makes me happy and then ends me on a happy note. You know what I mean? I don't want the stress. This is why I don't do scary movies. I don't do thrillers. I don't do anything like that. Okay, so for highlight today, we're going to use the BH Cosmetics Spotlight Highlight Palette because I was doing my new makeup releases video last week, which I'll link up here and down below, and they are releasing a new highlighter palette for Christmas, and I was talking about how good their highlighter formula is, or at least the palettes that I've tried from them with highlighter formulas. So it inspired me to bring out my BH Cosmetics highlighter palette. And I'm going to take the shade Glow right here, which is kind of like the goldy one in the palette, and I'm going to take it on my Linda Hallberg highlighting brush. And you kind of want to use this sparingly because it is pretty blinding. It's not one of those like, oh, I'm naturally glowing from within kind of highlights. I'm actually going to try and not put too much on, just because it is a more kind of fally look, I guess. But I do want a little bit of a glow. Now for my powder blush, I'm actually taking my Anastasia Beverly Hills blush kit. You can't get this anymore. I'm so sorry. I don't know why you can't. This thing is freaking phenomenal, but I'm going to mix these two colors together on my usual Linda Hallberg blush brush. We're just going to finish up the lower lash line, and what I'm actually going to do is take that warm taupe color right here on a pencil brush, and I'm just going to smudge that underneath the lower lash line here. And then I'm just going to pick up this Cypress Umber color just on like a Morphe M. It's just basically a flat brush, and I'm going to just really concentrate that on the outer part here, really close to the lash line. And then I'm just going to take my Linda Hallberg core crayons. This is in black and this is in greige. I'm going to put black on my like upper lash line up here, and I'm going to put greige on my lower waterline. And surprisingly, I'm not taking my Kosas mascara today. I'm taking my Essence Lash Princess because I need to use these up because they were opened before my Kosas ones. So I don't want them to go to waste. Okay, I have tried already like 2 or 3 lip combos. And I can't figure out which lip to use with this eye look. I feel like normally I would just do a really nude lip and kind of a bit of a glossy lip and just keep it really natural. But because I want to go like kind of really vampy and fally, I wanted to do a darker lip. So let's try this one. This is the NYX Cosmetics lip liner in, great question, nude beige. I'm going to try this KVD Vegan Beauty like liquid lip in Ludwig. This is actually pretty old. And I don't really like liquid lips, but we're going to try this and see if it works. Because it's slightly cool toned. Not fully, but it actually looks like the exact color of my lips, which is weird. I think this lip is just gonna have to do. I just don't think I have one that's gonna look better. Okay, so this is the finished makeup look. I think I tried on about 7 different lip colors trying to get the right one, and I couldn't find one. So this lip still isn't really making me happy, but it is the best one that I could find. I did want something like a lot darker and like more vampy, but it just wasn't matching the tones. It was too much. So here we are. Anyway, I am still really happy with how this look turned out, and honestly, this palette is still such a gem. Like, it was like sold out for so long and raved about for so long for a reason. This is a really good palette. I really enjoy the color scheme because I think that, you know, you've got some cool tones, some warm tones in here. You've got a lot of shades in here that are like every single day looks. Then you've got a couple of like berry tones if that's your version of a pop of color. Like, I just think that overall this palette is just beautiful. So let me know in the comments down below if you have Modern Renaissance and if you still love it, if you still use it, had you forgotten about it, are you thinking about picking it up? Let me know down below. Sorry, this video was probably a little bit all over the place with like my conversation, but That's where the wind took us today. If you liked the video, you can give it a thumbs up, you can subscribe, you could hit that notification bell, or you could do all three. Just thank you so much for watching, especially if you're watching to this part, I really appreciate you. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time.